What if I told you there's a proven supplement that can help you sleep through the night, even if your partner snores like a freight train or your bladder has you making multiple trips to the bathroom at nighttime? In this video, I'm diving into what actually works for sleep for women over 40. From hormones to magnesium to newer prescription medications, I'll also share a client story about how powerful the right combination can be. By the end, you'll know which options will be worth talking to your doctor about. And you'll know which options I do not recommend. Let's start with hormones, because this is usually the root of the problem. First up, estrogen. If you're having hot flashes or night sweats, bladder issues, or if you're just waking up randomly for no reason, estrogen can really be a game changer. It's really helpful for night sweats and random night awakenings, but also supports metabolism, bone health, heart health, and yes, our sexual health. Now, progesterone is another story. Progesterone and its metabolites or byproducts activate something in the brain called the GABA system. Now, the GABA system helps to reduce anxiety, improve sleep quality, and makes you less likely to wake up when, say, your dog jumps on the bed or your partner is snoring out of control. So if you're using estrogen, we always use progesterone along with it if you have a uterus in place. And so the combination of the estrogen and progesterone together, if you have a uterus in place, is a beautiful combination for hormone therapy and sleep. Now, if you don't have a uterus, we generally use progesterone to protect the lining of the uterus from abnormal cell growth. And if you don't have a uterus, it's a little bit controversial whether or not to use progesterone because you don't technically need it to protect the lining of the uterus. But some women still use micronized or bioidentical progesterone to help with sleep. But the long-term daily use of progesterone is a little controversial, so it may be something to discuss with your doctor if you've had a hysterectomy, you don't have a uterus anymore, so you don't necessarily need the progesterone for protection of the lining of the uterus. So it's a conversation worth having. Now, let's talk about some supplements that you can pick up without a prescription. There are two types of magnesium that can be very helpful. Two winners in the magnesium family are magnesium L-threonate and magnesium glycinate. Magnesium L-threonate is really special because it does cross something called the blood-brain barrier, meaning it is able to get into the brain and improve the architecture of your sleep. And that means that you get more deep sleep, more REM sleep. Research also shows that mood and memory benefit. Now, the downside to L-threonate is that it might be a little bit more expensive and you might need a little bit more of it for it to do its job. Magnesium glycinate is my go-to for most women. It's gentle on the stomach, highly absorbable, and it's naturally calming. It's really good for general relaxation and for sleep onset. It won't be as good for those REM cycles or rapid eye movement cycles that we need for our rest and recovery, but is still a really good option for relaxation and sleep. I personally use a magnesium supplement that has more than one of the types of magnesium in it. That may be something to consider just to cover both of those bases where you're getting some aid with the relaxation, general relaxation and falling to sleep, and then with that good deep sleep, the REM sleep that we need so much. Let's talk a little bit about melatonin. Your body naturally makes melatonin when the lights go down, when things get a little bit darker. And so the melatonin supplement can be a really good aid if your circadian rhythms are off. So examples of this would be with shift work. I know as an obstetrician gynecologist, we stay up to all hours of the night delivering babies in the middle of the night and doing emergency surgery. So sometimes the melatonin works really well for people who do shift work, or if you have jet lag traveling across the country or across different time zones. For melatonin, we want to use lower doses, anywhere between 0.5 to 3 milligrams. A lot of the supplements that you buy over the counter may not have really accurate dosing in them. You'll want to go with a brand with a good reputation. Dosing melatonin too high can lead to grogginess as well as to headaches. So that's something to, take a little caution with. Now, if you have problems with your bladder, and that's the thing that's waking you up multiple times to go to the bathroom at nighttime. If you've got problems with your bladder, there are some really good options for that as well. Desmopressin is an FDA-approved medication to reduce nighttime urine production. It can literally stop those 3 a.m. bathroom runs. It works by actually decreasing your urine production at nighttime. And this is something that's FDA approved for this issue. So if you're one of those people who has problems with waking up at night multiple times to go to the bathroom, this may be a great option for you. Another interesting one is Cialis. And yes, this is the same medication used for erectile dysfunction. And at a lower dose, it can improve bladder emptying for women. And that means fewer middle of the night wake-ups to go to the bathroom. And then on top of that, it can actually help to boost arousal. So it's a 2-for-1 bonus here with the Cialis for issues and problems with bladder emptying at nighttime. Now let's move on to some of the newer prescription medications for sleep. And there's some really good ones. There are some called DORAs, or dual orexin receptor antagonists. And that's a fancy name, but basically they quiet down the wake up drive that your brain has. So your brain has a stay awake drive, and it also has a go to sleep drive. And these DORAs, or dual orexin receptor antagonists, they help to calm down that stay awake drive in your brain. So things like suvorexant, lemborexant, and daridorexant, these are all medications in this drug class. And they don't knock you out like a sedative would. They calm that stay awake system so that your brain naturally lets go and drifts into natural sleep. So these DORAs block the activity of something called orexin. Orexin is a neurotransmitter or brain chemical that promotes wakefulness or being awake. It's a part of the stay awake drive. And when orexin is overactive, it makes it harder to fall asleep or stay asleep. By blocking the orexin receptors, these DORA medications actually suppress and quiet the stay awake signal. And this allows the natural sleep pathways to take over. Unlike some of the older sleep medications like the benzos or benzodiazepines, DORAs don't sedate you by making your whole central nervous system sedated. And that's what happens in some of those older drugs, where it kind of makes you completely sleepy by depressing the entire central nervous system. So with the DORAs, instead, they selectively block those wake signals, allowing the normal sleep signals to do their thing. And that means that these DORAs are closer to the natural sleep architecture. So they increase your sleep onset and your sleep maintenance. And there's a new class of drugs that will be FDA approved soon called NK inhibitors, and these may help with hot flash related insomnia. So insomnias that occur in conjunction with hot flashes and those random night awakenings that we see. So what I don't recommend for long-term use is the benzodiazepines and Z drugs like Ambien, Lunesta, and Sonata. They can have some habit-forming effects, and they come with certain side effects like falls and some memory issues. Those are ones that I don't generally recommend. And of course, everyone's different, and there are case-by-case situations where some of these medications might be very helpful, but across the board, these are not my primary recommendations. So let me tell you about one of my clients. She had a hysterectomy back in her 30s. So at the time, she wasn't in menopause, and they just removed her uterus, so she was no longer having menstrual cycles, but wasn't in menopause. But by her late 40s, she was miserable. Hot flashes in the daytime, night sweats, waking up randomly at the middle of the night, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, just randomly waking up, staring at the ceiling for hours, and being exhausted the next day because she wasn't getting good sleep. We came up with a plan for her, which included an estrogen patch. She wasn't getting the progesterone because she didn't have the uterus and didn't need the progesterone for management of the lining of the uterus. So we added in hypnosis for sleep and hot flashes and a magnesium supplement. And within really just a few days, she really started seeing a difference. And by the end of a week or so of her therapy, she was sleeping like a baby. Her hot flashes calmed down, the night sweats were gone, and she was sleeping through the night, rarely waking up at all. Her nights were very peaceful, and she told me she finally started feeling like herself with energy in the daytime again. And stories like this just go to show that it's not just one magic pill that's going to do it. Each person is different, has a different kind of scenario of what's going on, and that there is a combination or formula that's going to work especially for you. And so it's something that needs to be designed and looked at specifically. No one size fits all. So if you're lying awake at night trying to figure out if hormones or magnesium or some of the newer medications might work for you, now you kind of know the landscape and some of the things that may be options. You can talk to your doctor or other healthcare professional about which options will work for your body and your medical history, and find something that will work for you. Let me know in the comments which one of these supplements or medications that I just discussed you'd like to know more about in a future video. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and share it with a friend. That way more women can discover this information and get the help and support that we all deserve. And if you'd like to dive deeper into improving your sleep or explore new ways to thrive in perimenopause and menopause, use the link in the description to join the conversation in our community. There you'll find resources, guidance, and just some real connection. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.